Hi everyone, it's Gabrielle, and welcome back to the story of my journey with HSS. So, a few things to update you guys on. I have finally transitioned to the outside world, sort of. So, we've started doing physical therapy outside. We've been working a lot on mobility and flexibility and range of motion these past few weeks. And so now we need to move forward onto the next phase and we need to start building my endurance back up again. And so what we started doing yesterday was actually my first day. And so what we did was we walked the length of my driveway back and forth, and then we needed to see if I was okay after that. And I was, and so then we started walking a little bit on my street. And I live in a gated community, so it's very quiet. There's not any street traffic or anything like that. So, on my road, I guess. And we started with having, a focal point of from one mailbox to the other. And so I did that. And so that was my first day. And so then moving on, I need to go a little bit more. So every day it might be, to the next mailbox, or it might even just be a couple of feet, whatever I'm able to tolerate. And so eventually my physical therapist's goal is to have me walk around my whole community, which is half a mile. And so that's really exciting, that I've not only transitioned on to the next phase with physical therapy, but I'm actually able to now be outside and get some physical activity outside in the outdoors. So that I was so happy to hear about that. So that was good. I'm making strides with that. One thing I learned as well, two things actually, things that I learned was that, actually three. I take that back, make that three. So my surroundings, I need to be a little bit more of my surroundings. I sometimes lose sight on how big the external fixator is, and so I knocked my foot on my table. I was outside in my lanai, and I went to go put my foot up to elevate it, and I hit my foot on my patio table. And so I didn't realize how close it was to me. And I've done that a couple of times actually around my house. I don't realize just how little space I have. And so I need to start being a little bit more of my surroundings, because I definitely pay for that later on in the day. So there was that. There was not to say that I've been naive about this, but I went in my office the other day, and I sat down and I was going through emails, checking my emails. I was looking through my phone and, seeing voicemails, and I was writing bills and everything. And I kind of realized I had that kind of light bulb moment that time doesn't stop. Like, and I've talked about time in the past in one of my videos. I've made reference to it, but life and time, and it still goes on. Just because you're going through whatever you're going through, you think maybe that the outside world stops, and you think that maybe time has stopped, but it doesn't. And I kind of lost sight of that, because every single day my main priority, my main focus has been myself. And I get up every day, and my sole purpose now is my recovery and my physical therapy and everything that I have to do that comes along with the recovery process, whether it's the limb lengthening or the pin care or the elevation, or it's there's a special shoe that I have to wear for 6 hours a day that keep my toes up, so my toes don't flatten down and curl. And so all these things, like your whole day literally revolves around yourself, that I kind of lost sight in everything else that I have to do and my other responsibilities. And so I was glad that I finally realized that. So moving forward, I have to be a little bit more mindful and more aware of that, because that's just what it is. There was that. And the other thing was that, so I had some people over for Mother's Day, And it's the first time that I've had a large group of people over, that I've even been with a large group of people in my own little surrounding. And I noticed that I've kind of developed a little bit of a social anxiety. I wasn't very talkative. I didn't really want to engage in conversation. I just kind of wanted to be alone. I was out, everybody was, in the kitchen area cooking and being involved, and I was out in my living room with my foot elevated. And I don't know, I can't explain it. I kind of, it's not me. It's definitely not me at all. And I didn't like it. I didn't like that feeling at all. And it didn't really hit me until we sat down for dinner and everybody was talking and the music was playing in the background, and every noise and every time everybody talked, it just kind of got louder and louder inside of my head, and my surroundings just became smaller and smaller, and I felt like everything was kind of caving in, and it was the scariest thing. And my mom looked at me. She looked over right at me. She saw me. I was trembling, and she's like, let's get you out of here. Let's go lay down. And ever since, I've been doing a lot of reading and a lot of research on it. And from what I've been reading, they say that it's very common for people that have gone through some sort of trauma to develop some sort of social anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder type thing. And so I was talking with my physical therapist about it, and she said that it is very normal, but you definitely want to nick it right away, and you don't want to have that continue. And I think a lot of it stems also from, it's just my mom, Mia, and I, every day, aside from, when my sister stops by or my dad stops by or when I have my physical therapist here, it's just us, and the TV is never on, and I don't have music playing, and so I'm used to the silence and quiet and just kind of my own little surroundings. And so she said a couple of things that she suggested was, one, to always start having music on in the background just to have that stimulation of noise. She also suggested whether getting either a balloon or a beach volleyball, one of those blow up balls, and just sit there across from my mom and just throw the ball back and forth to where you have that stimulation of moving objects moving back and forth. And that will help a lot too, since I'm not in a car and I don't see things moving and going by at a fast pace. So that will help. And she also suggested action movies or action shows where there's a lot of loud noises and movement, and to kind of get that going as well. So that's definitely something that I definitely need to work on too. But other than that, there's really not much else going on. I leave next Wednesday again for New York. Thursday is my next appointment with Dr. Asbrook for my next follow-up. So I'm eager to see how much length I've grown since my last appointment. And I think that's it. So check back with me next week, and I'll give you an update on how my appointment went. And again, I always look forward to all of your messages and your well wishes. So thank you so much for those. And until next week, bye for now.